Radio Azeroth, broadcasting from Stormwind City, the heart of the Eastern Kingdoms.
The time is 10 a.m. Here's the local news for Stormwind City and Elwyn Forest. The Perainor tiara was found yesterday evening in the hands of Ogre Mage Grelborg the Miser. The tiara is said to have been crafted by master jewellers in Ironforge and once belonged to the Perainor nobles, a ruling family of the Kingdom of Ultrak. SI7 are currently investigating the circumstances that may have led to the tiara's relocation. A reward is currently in place for any information brought to the SI7 headquarters in Old Town. In other news, crime rates are at an all-time high in the Old Town. Many locals are blaming a lack of empathy from the government, claiming the area requires much more funding and attention. Here's what one local gnome had to say last week.
It's ridiculous, really. The area hasn't seen any kind of modernisation or redevelopment since the old barracks were expanded into the SI7 headquarters after the shattering. Most of the area hasn't been touched since it was built and then razed by the orcs in the First Great War. It just shows how little King Varian thinks of us low-income families. It's just not good enough.
An official statement from the king claims he is a fierce lover of his subjects and intends on finding funds for more redevelopment projects. However, he also claims to have many military projects on his hands since tensions have risen in Draenor. And finally, rumours of the Burning Legion resurfacing are spreading amongst the Eastern Kingdoms and Kalimdor. While they refuse to speak to us regarding these rumours, SI7 this morning raised the threat level for terror-related incidents to imminent for the first time in 3 years. That's all for the top stories today. It's now time for Good Morning Stormwind.
Welcome to Good Morning Stormwind. I'm your host, Vilawyr. The time is currently 10:03. Let's take a look at what's coming up on today's show. We'll be talking with a local elf about gardening within city limits, how you can have a bountiful crop from just 3 window boxes. Very excited to hear from her later. We also have an interesting recipe in the cooking segment today, Crunchy Spider Surprise. Interesting. We'll also have local tailor Giorgio Bolero coming to talk to us about what to expect in fashion this season. All that and more coming up on today's Good Morning Stormwind. But first, we have a guest revisiting us. Regular viewers may remember this gentleman from last week when he talked to us about his views on the Dwarven District. Let's take a look at that.
Ridiculous. When I was a child, my great-grandfather would tell me stories of that area from his childhood. Nice human families living regular lives. There was none of this Dwarven District nonsense. It was Oak Row. Oak Row. These tiny immigrants have taken something that was once ours and claimed it for their own. It's unacceptable. And another...
Very strong opinions there. Esteemed listeners, we have Perainor back in the studio. Welcome back, Perainor.
Thank you. Thanks. It's great to be back.
So, before we start, there's one thing my listeners wanted me to address. Since you were here last time, I've had a lot of letters telling me there's no record of there ever being anything where the Dwarven District is, other than what stands there today. It appears that the Dwarven District even predates the Alliance.
One of the big problems is actually us being a part of the Alliance, but I'll get to that later. If some small bits of my information was incorrect, I think my main point still stands.
Sure. So what have you come to talk about today?
The Deep Run Tram, Vilawyr. The Deep Run Tram is a cancerous tumour on this city.
Care to elaborate on that?
Of course. Tell me, Vilawyr, who built the Deep Run Tram?
I believe it was mostly Dwarven and Gnomish engineering.
Exactly. And how much does it cost for anyone to use?
It's absolutely free.
So who's paying for it?
I believe the Alliance collectively pays for the upkeep.
Us! We're paying for it. All our hard-earned tax money goes on that tram, and not enough goes on our own people. So why was it built?
Here's a subject I do know a bit about. Before I got into broadcasting, I actually studied history for many years. I only gave it up after an incident with a Ravasor in the Ungora crater. So after the Second War, the Alliance decided it would be beneficial to have a quick and safe way to transport troops between the Eastern Kingdoms for the safety of...
Sorry, I'm going to stop you right there. You're just wrong. It was built so that dwarves and gnomes could come here to steal jobs and women and beer from hard-working humans. The fact that we're even a part of an alliance that enables this is ridiculous. We pay all this tax money to be spent on these people who aren't even humans. The little people need to take notes from the elves. At least they have the brains to stay out of our cities and shack up in the forest out of the way. Our best bet is to leave this alliance. We'd be better on our... What the fuck was that?
Oh my god. This way, come on, run, quickly.
Due to issues beyond the control of Radio Azeroth, this broadcast cannot continue. please stand by. This message will repeat. Due to issues beyond the control of Radio Azeroth, this broadcast cannot